Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer. Closing Sunday at Belmont Park. 3 stakes races on tap. We'll kick things off with the stakes action with race number 4, the $100,000 Chelsey Flower Stakes, going a mile on the Widener turf for 2-year-old fillies. You can play this card with a DRF Bets account. Deposit $150, bet with $300. Bet the Breeders' Cup with DRF Bets. Here's the field for the Chelsey Flower. And Mike, it's a really nice competitive race. The problem is we're expecting a lot of rain at Belmont on Sunday. Hopefully this race, the kickoff leg of the mandatory payout 20-cent Empire 6, stays on the grass.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully the weather cooperates a little bit. There's nothing we can really do about it, Dan. All we can do is handicap it, the way they want to run it on the turf and hope that it stays on.
Timeform US believes that the 12 Astoria Kitten will be able to clear off and make the front, as she did in her most recent start at Belmont when she was able to make the lead. She's well-bred. She's well-connected. She's ridden by an aggressive jockey in Kendrick Carmouche, and perhaps she can make the front.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he just has to send. He did not draw a good post for this race. I don't think he really has that many alternatives but to try and go.
Enola Gay, the number 1, goes out for Shug McGahee, another running daughter of Uncle Mo. This horse looked good in her career debut at Kentucky Downs, going 6.5 furlongs. Strong stretch rally that day. We'll take a look at that race right now. Here's Enola Gay, and she's going to be coming on the far outside eventually with her kick. She's just getting going right now, second to the left, I believe. She's going to come with her run right now. Here she comes to attack in the greenish silks, and she's going to make the lead and get away from this field. I like the way she pulled this off. It's a difficult course, Kentucky Downs, with the European configuration, and she draws great for the Chelsey Flower.
Yeah, I mean, I like this debut, too. She got a really good trip in this race, but she also really ran. This is the faster of split divisions of this race on the same card. There was also a race for Colts at the same distance, and she went almost a full second faster than them. It was a pretty good performance, and she has a lot of pedigree to handle the stretch out.
My question for you regarding the 2, Princessa Caroline, is not how she won first time out, but how does a daughter of American Pharaoh and a half-sister Lady Eli pay $11 first time out for Chad Brown?
Yeah, I don't know. It was very surprising that she was a little bit cold on the board based on her connections and pedigree, but that didn't matter at all when they got onto the racetrack.
The American Pharaohs, they've been running fools on turf thus far. Princessa Caroline, as we turn into the stretch of her career debut, no, she doesn't have that brilliant turn of foot that Lady Eli showed in her career. More of a professional style, but she attacks this horse on the inside. She makes the front, and she really isn't in any danger of losing, despite drifting slightly to the inside. This horse was pre-entered for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies turf. She's going to need one more defection to get into the race. I'm sure Chad's going to play a wait-and-see approach. If he doesn't get in there, he may make hay here.
Yeah, she's supposed to be tough to beat in this race. If this is where she runs, she just did a lot of right things first time out. She had speed. She was very confidently ridden, tracking the pace, and she won very easily in there. It's worth noting that Laughable, the horse who was clearly second to her in there, came back and ran yesterday at Belmont and was atrocious. She did not run well at all. But she had run pretty well leading up to that race, so I don't know if that really means anything. This horse she's just way the horse to beat.
Princessa Caroline earned an 83 buyer in her career debut. Sky Kitten, after 3 starts, the best buyer of 55. Trainer David Donk hoping that maybe Blinkers spurs some improvement. This horse didn't get a lot of pace last time out in the Salima at Laurel, but she doesn't have speed. The Blinkers might be able to get her into the race a little bit earlier.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see what she does. Obviously, the connections like her. They've run her in a couple stakes already, and they're going to try again. But she hasn't run well enough to beat a field like this.
The 4 Quality Heat, the 5 Lady Fatima, have been knocking heads in their last 2 starts at Woodbine. We'll go back to the most recent race, October the 12th, an optional claimer, where we see Lady Fatima, the number 7. She is the big gray on the outside, and she's going to grind this field down while the 1 is Quality Heat, splitting horses right now. Lady Fatima had to work here. Somehow she got it done. It was getting late pretty early.
It really was. It feels like these 2 horses took advantage a little bit of a horse that you saw in the lead just sort of give up that race late in the game, and they both surged to get up. I'll say this. I'm a fan of Lady Fatima. I think she's actually run pretty well in her turf races, and she showed last time at least that she can get a little bit more of a distance of ground, but I think she has to improve to beat this field.
No surprise at the 6. Speak to Me of Summer improved on the turf. She is by first crop stallion Summer Front, who is a really hearty middle distance turf runner in his day. Speak to Me of Summer made the turf debut most recently at Monmouth. I thought got a really nice ride from Paco Lopez. We turn into the stretch here. He's just easing off the rail, white cap, blue silks. And once she makes the front, there really aren't that many problems.
Yeah, she got a really good trip in this race once she, was able to settle. She was under a pretty hard hold early, getting a little bit ranked, but after that she settled in, got a good trip, won very easily at the end of the day. The race didn't come back fast, but it's just a maiden win. She won easily. She has a huge pedigree for a great trainer. Things to like here.
From Europe comes the number 7, Bradenberry, now with Graham Motion and Joel Rosario, now getting Lasix for the first time. This horse ran okay in 4 starts overseas. All of those races, though, it's 6 furlongs. Going to have to go a mile for the North American debut. Motion's put some stamina-building workouts into her to give her a little foundation.
Yeah, and Motion just has a great record with horses like this, so that's something to consider with her. I can't say that I love her European form, Dan. She did bump into a good horse in her debut, and then came back to win her next start, but her last 2 races didn't do a lot for me.
Sparkling Sky was a solid winner at Saratoga to take her maiden 2 starts back. And the Miss Grillo last time out, she ran against some pretty nice fillies, probably a couple of the East Coast best 2-year-old filly turf horses. She ran okay in that race for Todd Pletcher. She's solid. I would expect another good effort.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I mean, I don't have any real knocks on her. I can't say I'm a huge fan of any of her races. I thought she got a perfect trip when she won her maiden at Saratoga. She ran fine last time. She was never going to win that race. Maybe this is just a little bit of an easier spot.
Considering her pedigree, you would think the 9 Micheline would make hay on dirt and not do very well on turf, being by Bernardini at a panty raid. Well, the opposite's been true thus far. She's a stakes winner on the turf. They ran her in the Grade 1 Alcibiades, and she didn't do anything at all. Let's go back to her most recent turf start. This is the sorority on September the 1st at Monmouth, and she's in the blue silks for Godolphin, and once she straightens herself out in the lane and gets by this 20-1 shot, she wins comfortably, albeit with a slow figure.
Yeah, that's sort of been the problem with her in each of her first 2 starts. She was really green first time out in a race that didn't have any pace. She was a little better in this win, but you saw her, again, lugging in through the stretch. She's still trying to figure it out. Back to turf, I guess, is no problem for her. 2 turf races are fine. It feels like she still has forward to go.
I think English Breeze is lurking under the radar in this race for Donk, especially if she gets a little bit of pace. I liked her debut win at Saratoga. I know it was only against New York Reds, but she ran well in the P.G. Johnson. I don't think the pace materialized for her in the Miss Grillo, and she was staying on a little bit. I think there's scope for improvement here at a price.
Yeah, I do too. She was sort of the other horse for me. I like the logical horses in this race, but she was the other horse that I'll be using in this race. I really liked her debut. And I thought her P.G. Johnson was good. And again, I think that Miss Grillo just a little too tough for her, but this filly has some talent.
Mosienko has been started twice in off the turf races. Last time out, she won on the slot by 13 3/4 lengths, being by hat trick out of an elusive quality mare. Maybe turf is where she'll ultimately shine, but as of right now, she's got to improve off those dirt buyers. Impressive as she was visually on dirt last time.
Correct. She has a lot of turf pedigree. Maybe this is the surface that will really move her up, and it has to.
Astoria Kitten expected to make the lead, as she did against New York Reds last time out. Let's watch that race. Jose Lascano was aboard for this day, and he put Astoria Kitten right on the front, and she takes care of this field. Now, I'm not really sure about the quality of the horses she beat in this race. I know More Glitter, who is even money, came back to win, but this, at least from a figure standpoint, was promising, and she never let up in the lane.
Yeah, it was nice to see her take a step forward because they bet her really hard first time out, and she did not run well at all. Gargan put the blinkers on for this race, and she really did take a step forward. I think you're right in that the field she beat is not a great one. More Glitter did come back to win, but that was an off-the-turf race in really slow time. Listen, she improved last time. She's got speed. If she improves again, she's a contender. I kind of want to see her do it.
Let's take a look at our top selections for the Chelsey Flower Stakes. Again, hopefully this race stays on the turf. How are you playing this to kick off the mandatory payout Empire 6, 20-cent minimum wager?
I mean, I don't think I'd put a lot of money in against Princessa Caroline if she does run here. I just think she's way the horse to beat. The other horse for me was Enola Gay. I just don't really have anything clever to say about the race. I like the 2 favorites, and I would use a little bit of the 10 English Breeze.
I like Princessa Caroline as well. I like Enola Gay. Maybe I could split them with the European. You mentioned Motion's record with these horses in the past. Bredenberry, I went 2-7-1 in the Chelsey Flower Stakes, one of 3 stakes races on closing day at Belmont on Sunday. Bet them all with a DRF Bets account. Deposit $150, bet with $300. Bet the Breeders' Cup with DRF Bets. Approximate post time for the Chelsey Flower, 2:01 Eastern. Good luck.